Comet C 2023-A3 Suchinshan Atlas has been lighting up the morning skies for the past couple of weeks, and I finally had my shot at it. After weeks of clouds, I finally had some clear skies, and on the morning of October 3rd, I got in my car and I headed east towards the Atlantic Ocean, and I stopped by a beach and looked east. And I saw this. Zooming in, it's so tiny and cute, but it was so hard to see. My camera could barely pick it up. Trying to see it with my phone was a fail. I tried both taking a video and a night mode picture, which couldn't see a thing, except for the stuff in the water. For my setup, I used my Canon T5i and my Samyang 135mm lens, stepped up to f4 at ISO 1600. I put it on a tripod and I just used my intervalometer and took a picture every couple of seconds or so. The exposure time varied greatly because I was trying to make adjustments because of the brightening sky, because of the rising sun. Looking at one raw image, we can see something in the horizon. And by the way, that wall of darkness on the horizon is a huge cloud bank, and I had to wait for the comet to peek out from behind it before I could take any photos. And that further delayed when I was able to start taking pictures of the comet and gave the sun a little bit more of a head start to brighten up the atmosphere. And after some adjustments to the image, I was able to make the comet pop out a little bit more. If I had multiple attempts at this, I would have tried a longer focal length lens or even one of my telescopes to try and get a closer look of the comet's coma and nucleus. But I was actually really hoping to catch the long tail of this comet. We can see the tail in a lot of wonderful photos that were uploaded on the internet and also in apps like Sky Safari. Look at that long tail. But of course, it was just too bright for the tail to appear in any of my photos. It was also a little bit foggy. The atmosphere wasn't the most stable. Of course, being by the ocean in the early morning, there was a lot of moisture in the air, so that definitely didn't help. And if you know me, you know that I love time lapses. So I did my best to take as many photos as I could, and I stitched them together into a, not the best time lapse, but I'm happy I was able to get something. And I took over 1,000 exposures over about an hour or so, but I only stitched together the first 140 frames into a time lapse because I had to make adjustments based on where I was pointing, so was the brightening sun, and the rest of it just didn't look good, but it's still about a 16-second time lapse. This video doesn't have a how-to on how I did that, but if there's interest, let me know in the comments below, and I will work on how I did it. And I'm also hoping to get a second chance at the comet in the second half of this month when it comes back around the sun. And I hope this time I'll have multiple attempts at this so that at least one time I can point a telescope at it and get a closer look. And for those of you who don't know, the comet will be coming back around the sun later in October, and this time it'll be visible after sunset. So instead of being an hour or so before sunrise, it'll be an hour or so after sunset. And of course that means that it'll still be pretty low to the horizon when it's brightest, but it'll jump to about 30 degrees above the horizon near the end of its journey. And at that point, we'll still be able to see with telescopes, but simple cameras will have a hard time seeing it, like this setup, and it'll be just about impossible to see it with our eyes. If you're in New England and you know of a good place near driving distance of Boston with a good view of the western horizon, let me know. At least with the eastern horizon, I can just drive east for half an hour or so and I'll be at a beach and I can see the eastern horizon. But the west is really hard to find from where I am, so I usually don't shoot anything that's around there. And if you took photos of the comet and you'd like to share it with the community, please look at the description for an invite link to the Astronomy Discord server where you can share your images. Please enjoy my not the best time lapse of the comet taken on October 3rd, 2024. Clear skies.